All right, everybody, it is 9 o'clock p.m., and y'all know what time it is. It is time for the Midnight Run, and once again, it's me. It's me. It's the VINCE, and I hope everybody's doing all right tonight. Frank Tofano's been on the roll as far as mints are concerned. He just released a whole bunch of shorts, and we do got to play them before he goes and deletes them like he normally does. Some bitch. I don't know why he always deletes all of his stuff. We want to see him go crazy and insane. That's all we want. We want to see a person go mad, you know? Is there anything wrong with that? What do you think, Ryan? What do you think, Dale? There's nothing wrong with that. We ain't trying to hurt nobody. Nope. But folks, I had food poisoning this morning, actually. I woke up at 3 a.m. and it was bad. Now, I'm not sure what it was or so forth. It could have just been my time of things, and I probably didn't cook something enough through there, you know. But in any event, the great one is okay. Folks, the key to, if you get a really bad stomach ache and you feel like throwing up, what you do simply is go to your thermostat and turn it down to like 64 degrees. Make it nice, liquidy cold in there. What happens is your body, being cold and shivering, warms up. That usually clears out your stomach and everything else here. At least it helps out there. You know, that and some Rolaids or some Alka-Seltzer. Not Alka-Seltzer, Alka-Seltzer. And you be alright. I wonder if they still sell kaopectate anyway. That's what I want on my shelf. I want something that can't be pronounced. It's like, hey, you got, I want some friends whenever they come over. It's like, man, my stomach is hurting. You got Rolex? No, nigga, I got kaopectate. You know? They be like, what? What's kaopectate? Diarrhea. Ugh, boy. That's not good. But you know what, folks? It's amazing how technology has came. During my lunch break, I was able to start up pretty much and fix up a new business and stuff. All through AI. And speaking of AI, folks, well, actually, I'll let Ryan know and Pugman know before I spread the news. I've been talking to Pugman about a couple things here. So, we got a couple things down the line here. Better yet, Ryan, hold on. Alright, I sent you a message in Facebook, Ryan. I finally decided to do so. And of course, I got my big, beautiful AI, Centra AI, folks. The official AI of the Piss Troopers. I'm just joking. I do like it. It gets stuff done, you know. You know, ChatGPT, it absolutely refuses to make a picture of Sean G with a bone through his nose. But after a little bit of coaxing, and since it's my own AI system, I was able to do it. Although, it has been acting kind of funky lately. It's been acting funky like a monkey. And I don't know why. I don't care about Cuban's birthday. Hell, I don't even care about his death day. Up there wearing a tie and stuff. That's right, Ryan. Folks, t-shirts are coming. And not just one t-shirt design, not two. There's gonna be a little over 100 designs that are coming out eventually. And you're wondering, how in the world can I have over 100 designs? It's quite simple, folks. I told you guys, I've been around for over 25 years. So there are designs that have been made by Keith Jones. There are ones on forums of me. And then you got the muscular developed ones. You got the... There's a lot of pictures of me out there, folks. I've been in the industry. And people have drawn a bunch of memes about me there and stuff. So all of that's out there. So simply put, I'm going to take all those images, run it through my big beautiful AI. And we'll just do what we have to do, you know? I mean, we got classics like this one here, folks. I bet you guys have never seen this one before. This is a very old picture, actually. I need to have Centra AI actually clean it up. Whoops. Let's see if Centra can clean this picture up, actually. See, that picture used to be on one of my t-shirts. I've sold t-shirts before, folks. So they are, I've sold t-shirts before. Just to let you guys know. That's not a joke. I mean, all through the years, we got things like this here. You know, literally. This is part of the Keith Jones collection right here, so, yeah. Then, of course, we got the, this one here was the Billy Gunn's Vince Goodrum pose down at the Mr. Olympia. And that's after the show, folks. After we got that completed. So we basically did a mock pose down at the Mr. Olympia for ALR Industries. So, yeah. Ooh, this one's a classic one here. There you go. Look at that one. What do you think? What do you think, Dale? What do you think? Yeah, these shirts are gonna be... I mean, like I said, we're gonna go back to 25 years of design.
Or clavicular lengths. Can we react at normal speed?
Sure, we could do that, Matt. Definitely do appreciate the donation here. But before we begin, of course, naturally, I have to say that this program is sponsored by Odyssey Cigars. Nothing like a Cuban sandwich, aka floor sweepings, to get your night started. Now, folks, I may have this here, but of course I got my cup of coffee, little Maker's Mark, Richard Overton style, and of course my water cup given to me by my good friend Pugman. Y'all be sure to thank Pugman for it. Like I said, folks, there's hundreds of different pictures. There's even let me see if I can find it. I forgot to show you this one here. Hold on. This was drawn by someone that works for Marvel Comics. I kid you not there. I have to actually remember where it is. Maybe I should look for it later on. You know, one thing about Google is it seems to have a very bad sense of humor. Son of a fucking bitch. You know, I forgot about this picture. Y'all want to see something vintage right here? We're gonna play it in just... Ah, got it right here. There it is. Now this here, folks, y'all gonna like this one. It actually just popped up, actually. This here see, back in 2006 or 7, like 20 years ago, me and my good friend True Adonis was beefing. I think we were arguing about my show at the Mountaineer or something. I don't remember what happened. But this guy from Marvel Comics there saw us arguing and he decided to draw a picture of this here, literally. Yep, 2000, as you could tell, 2006. So, folks, you gotta remember, I've been around for quite a long time. That's not too bad, is it? That will be one of the other designs that you will be able to pick up on the t-shirt shop right here, folks. You'll be able to get this here. And I don't think Sexual Mustard will have a problem with it, you know. I mean, as long as I leave his logo up there, hopefully he's not going to go and ask me for royalties. He shouldn't. After all, he drew me with some fucking titties with a bumblebee in front. But hey, what makes money is what makes money, folks. And then this is something that someone... That's actually a picture of me in 2004, actually. Dieting, about ready to diet down for my first bodybuilding show. And my mortal enemy, Keith Jones, decided to draw this thing. So, folks, this is me, in case you want to know. This is a picture of me that's about 21 years old. Or, excuse me, 21 years ago, actually. So, there you go, folks. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff here. So, let's go ahead and play... Let's go ahead and play the Clavicle video. Sorry, I didn't mean to hold you up there, Matt. You know me. You know I love you. You know, but I had to go find that picture. I forgot all about it.
Go ahead.
All right. Before we do that, folks, we gotta light up. Gotta light up, folks. Get my cigar in. But yeah, folks, there's a bunch of, like I said before, I had t-shirts before. But I'm just going to release everything from over 25 years. Maybe I may even put some late 90s pictures of me up there. What would you think of that, folks? Hmm.
The what's the main reason why you started to bodybuild or whatever you call it?
Because I was a Terra incel, and I never had, a full court shots chance at getting a girl. So I coped my way into the gym. I said, hey, let me go on a dirty bulk until I'm 250 pounds, an acne-ridden fat fuck. And I thought that would solve all my problems. I thought being a bloated, pizza-faced jester would save my problems. That's why I started working out, okay? That's why. To answer your question, quite frankly. You know? That's why. That's why. But anyway, what up, dog? How you doing? There you go. I said the N-word in a rap song? Because what are you doing? You're giving all the on Twitter some sort, it's like an admission of guilt. Like, hey, liberals of Twitter, I did something wrong by saying a word while I'm singing.
I don't get it. Sometimes they'll get mad at white people for singing a song that we made. I mean, come on, really. What's the version of San Francisco song that you've been playing? I'll have to look it up in just a minute. Marjorie Taylor Greene is taking her ball and going home.
It's like,
fuck that bitch.
Give me a break. It's like, dude, what are we doing here? What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Please. Anyway. Did your Cybertruck get fixed? No, that same didn't have insurance that hit me, so I reported him to ICE. So, guys, for those of you who don't know the backstory, there was this guy from Honduras, a 14-year-old little kid, who could barely see over the wheel. So he's driving like this, and he hits the back of my car. And then I get in my car, and I go over to the guy to kick his ass, and I'm like, oh, it's a 14-year-old kid. And he's sitting there like what I do? So I'm like losing my shit. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck am I going to do now? This kid is like 14 and he's a midget retard. Can't even get mad. So I just start losing my shit. And I'm in public, so I can't go too bonkers, right? So I say, hey, give me your ID. He hands me like a piece of paper that was like McLovin tier that says, whatever, Jose or Jose B, I forget, from Honduras. I'm like, oh, fuck, you gotta be kidding me. So I guess I'm not getting coverage on this one. So from there,
that is why you should have liability and collision, especially on a Cybertruck. Are you stupid? Just to have only liability on it, you idiot.
File a claim. This guy doesn't have insurance. It was fake. He gave me fake papers. So I reported him to ICE, right? I filled out a tip, and I used some connections, and I hopefully got him deported. I'm pretty sure I did, but yeah, that was a big nightmare. So I'm not.
Be monogamous?
Can I be monogamous? Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think that's something I would have to disagree with Islam about, is the polygamy thing. I don't really think that you're ever going to be able to have these strong bonds and any type of, real connection to a woman if there's four of them.
I mean, how's that working? You don't have to have four. Now, 80% of Muslims have one wife.
This is Sneaker.
Yeah, 80% have. Some have two, some have three. But in my opinion, I think two is optimal. 2 or 3 is optimal. I think 4 is too much. I think that's too much for me personally. But how's that working out for white Christians right now? The wife guys, you see these guys, oh, my wife, and they...
It certainly isn't it's not because of Christianity, it's because...
No, I'm not saying it's because of Christianity, but that culture.
Yeah, it's not working out for them well, but, I mean, that's because the wives have been empowered to think that they could walk all over these guys, and quite frankly, it's the husband's fault for allowing it, you know? So, but I wouldn't say that that's the fault of Christianity. It's just
No, I'm not blaming Christianity, but I'm saying maybe more specifically to monogamy isn't working for white people right now. The population is declining.
Well, monogamy is not working simply due to feminism and all this kind of stuff. It's not monogamy as an isolated.
That's just not true at all. I mean, I don't think really much of anything has changed. It's just that we know about stuff more. Information comes to us a lot quicker, but the truth of the matter is people are sluts these days, and people are found out quicker.
That's true.
Thing.
But you know, what prevents a lot of that is not only Islam, but well, not just full wives, but Islam on a whole. You know, if you have 3 wives, they're not going to think that they're feminist girl boss. They're not. You can't have 3 feminist girl boss wives. They're going to be in their place. They're going to be competing with each other.
Yeah, but it just seems ridiculous to even think this like it is something that matters, because we know throughout all of history when feminism wasn't a thing, monogamy was ideal. You know, so why not just address the root cause being feminism and female empowerment to do ridiculous
So
stuff.
what's the how?
That is? No. Like, I've never got with like a black girl before.
Oh.
Trying to knock that out. You down? Not feeling it? Why not? He's not here. Where is he?
Oh, you should try someone else.
Airball. Alright, all good.
Dude, you know how f***ing retarded
That is fucked up, dude.
all the girls there were? They were like, oh, I go for personality. And I'm like, and I'm not sure if you guys saw the clips. I was like, bro, this is the most like virtue signaling Jester Max I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, it was performative, because who's buying their OnlyFans? It's literal like subhuman jesters. So of course they have to be performative and act like, you know, they would get with a guy who's got a good personality, because that's the only thing that is somewhat in, you know, the purview of the people buying this shit, is becoming somewhat of a good personality, or at least them convincing themselves that they're a good personality. So for sake, yeah, exactly. They promote it to minors, brainless bitches, right? Yeah. So everyone spam L hoes in the chat, and then he's shilling them. And I'm like, dude, I'm just telling that. Yeah, exactly. I'm telling them that, you know, I don't blame them for what they did. Like, you do OnlyFans, it's like, I get it. You know, why wouldn't you if you're a girl, chat, tell me this. If you were a girl and, you know, you could exploit people, you know, if you could exploit a bunch of incels for thousands of dollars, literally hundreds of thousands. What am I even saying? Thousands of dollars. They're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Would you not do it? Would you not? So exactly, you would. Right. Yeah, I mean, most people logically would. And I was just telling them, like, I don't blame them for it. I just think you're f***ing disgusting. And, you know, there's going to be no one that actually takes you serious. Your image is ruined. And I told them, you know, straight up, like, that's what you did. And then they got all butthurt by that. And, you know, all I said was, you know, you got to double down on your f*** up. Like, you chose this path. Now you got to stick to it. And you f*** yourself over. I wasn't even talking, dude. They were saying much worse. I never rate myself. Dude, I get the weirdest fan interactions. My fans are so weird.
Who is this dude that just walks right in the middle of the video?
This guy comes up to me one day, in front of his girlfriend, by the way. First of all, how stupid could you be to ask this in front of your girlfriend? Hey man, could I get a rate? Rate me 1 through 10. Am I chopped, Clef? Is it over? Dude, imagine being that stupid that you say that, a jester ass shit in front of your girlfriend. Now she thinks you're an incel. Now
I wouldn't say more options. It's just that it's just a lot easier with the internet and Grindr and Tinder and stuff. You know, you can literally fuck anyone, you know, and that and sexuality and stuff like that is more open there. But I swear to God, if I see anyone fucking a dog or a kid, I'm beating their asses. I'm sorry. I mean, if you want to fuck a Cabbage Patch doll or a pumpkin, a watermelon, I'll tell you right now, on these porn networks, last month when it was Halloween, there was a whole bunch of people fucking pumpkins. I'm like, what the fuck? Is this what you got to do to get paid around here? I mean, seriously. Do I have to go and fuck a watermelon or anything? Have they been watching some of Kai Green's old clips or something? I mean, seriously. Jeez.
She thinks you're gay, right? Why would you phalo yourself like that? And I was like, dude, like, we can take a picture, but just stop talking to me. Just stop.
So mainstream. I can tell your chat is full of low IQ TikTok black pill consumer.
My chat?
60 IQ apes.
Shut the f up. Well, not you, but no, it's not just 60 IQ TikTok kids who are into lookism. My chat is 60 IQ SSB followers who are spamming me with 1 million dead relatives of all of the streamers. Okay? They're spamming me to do meth and do all this retarded shit. Okay? So it's not just looks maxers. Now I just have retarded looks maxers and retards. It's like I'm swarmed with retardation just from all fucking fronts.
Just tipped $3.
Some jester I saw in my mentions. I obviously had to say the N-word because of how ridiculous that was. And also, guys, just lol at the N-word, okay? The method is unpatched. Nobody gives a shit what you say anymore. So I saw like a...
That's not exactly true. Usually, things that you say come back to haunt you later on.
Dude called me out. He's like, oh, Clav, why do you gotta say the N-word? It's like, because it gets me views? Why would I not? Why would I not say it, okay? Like, I'm not really a hateful guy at all, whatsoever. I'm just abusing an unpatched method because every single normie has their chopped off and they're too scared to, push the limits. So, the barrier to entry is up here. That's why the views are so good if you say the N-word on the internet. Because think about it. To have to say the N-word, this is the barrier to entry of what needs to be done. You need to be, financially independent. You can't have a job that someone could email your boss on LinkedIn, the video of you saying the N-word, and you get fired. You can't have that. You need to be 99th percentile height and frame. You need to be able to, fend off any people that come up to you and realize.
I mean, literally, he thinks he's God's gift to women or something. I'm like, damn.
And press you over saying the N-word, right? Because you physically dominate them. So just those 2 percentiles. Self-sufficient financially and 99th percentile height and frame already wipes out like 99.9999. And then you add being based on top of that. Dude, that's like maybe 3 people in this entire world that could say the N-word. That's like me, TJR, and...
No, you can't say the N-word because you're not a nigger. You gotta be black to say the N-word. Alright? You might be an essay. We definitely wouldn't allow an Asian to say it, Hispanics might be able to get away with it. Blacks, definitely. White folks, no.
I don't really know who else because everyone else does it by accident. I'd say me and TJR are probably, he's 6'6", by the way, guys, and self-sufficient financially. He's a day trader. What are they going to do? Ban him from Forex? So me and TJR are arguably the only people who not only have the balls, but have the means financially and physically to say the N-word. So I'm very...
A fucking moron. But you know what? Sadly enough, him and Nick Fuentes, they somewhat represent the new era of white man. And that's not a good thing. This guy is talking about looks maxing and he has not a shred of muscle on him whatsoever. I mean, seriously. He looks just as scrawny as Nick Fuentes is. This cigar is going to be really bad. Hold on just a minute. I'll be right back. It's not staying lit. Oh boy. Folks, yeah, the cigar is not going too well. Now I'm gonna hate to use this tool on a Cuban sandwich, Because it might disintegrate right in my mouth or so. I don't think it... No, definitely no Steve Reeves. I don't know what he is, he's just the modern day based conservative white man. I got to be really careful with this here because it is a Cuban sandwich. So I got to make one clean push into the... Damn it! Fucked it up. Oh, this is going to be bad. I may have to get a new cigar, actually. That is really bad. Jesus Christ. Yep, bad cigar. It's a dud. Shit. Okay. Motherfucker. I knew that was going to happen, and it still didn't work. It was just a bad cigar. Like I said, folks, you're going to get duds in cigars, even on the most expensive ones. Well, very rare on the most expensive ones because they test them out, but... Might be just one of those nights, folks. I'll tell you this right now. No, there wasn't a branch. It was just... the cigar was just never meant to be smoked. This one ain't exactly doing much better. That's the thing about Cuban sandwiches, folks. I've been doing good so far, and then you run into the stuff like this. But even the ones that smoked well, they just disintegrate whenever it gets down to here. But what can you do, really? But I already knew that cigar was getting bad because the symptoms of a cigar that's not going to go well is if it starts heating up really bad. If you can feel a little bit, if it's roasting hot around the sides of it like this here, that means it's packed too tight. And literally, you're not going to get any flavor. You see, a cigar has to be at an appropriate temperature to get the flavor. It can't be if it's too hot, you're not going to get anything but hot heat. You're not going to get the smoke. It could have been. I'm not for sure, but the outside wrap was cracking anyway there, KCB. So it couldn't be saved. Well, let's check out the Frank Tufano mints. Claviker is the future of the conservative white man. And I'm going to be honest with you, that may not be a good thing. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean-spirited or anything like that. It's just that he's getting so popular that he's beginning to become full of himself. He's not quite made it yet. He's smart and he's intelligent. I will give him that. And very minty, too. On so many ways, but yeah. Let's check out Frank Tufano's adventures in Japan.
I wanted to give you guys a quick update. We did end up staying in Tokyo and convincing the doctor to get a second surgery. Took a lot of convincing. I had to take out a new credit card because he did want me to pay for an additional procedure, but I thought, let me go through with it, and I think it was definitely for the better. I think I look a lot more than my old self. He ended up taking out the implants that the first doctor initially put in, and he added even more plates to the medial wall. And just today at the post-op consultation, the doctor said I was his most difficult case ever. So at least so far things looks like they worked out. I'm excited to see how the next few weeks and few months of recovery goes, but that's as much as we could do. We've kind of pushed the limit of what can be done for repairing the orbit, and I think we're in a good spot now.
No, you're not. You will be unhappy.
I had my first reconstruction.
I never met the guy, to be honest with you. I never met Guru. I was on RX Muscle with a panel of a bunch of other people, including Amin. But I've never met him before, and I've never directly talked to him, just indirectly.
Reconstructive surgery here in Japan on Saturday, November 8th. And a lot of you guys were DMing me, asking me who the doctor was. I had a second reconstructive surgery just 2 days ago, Thursday, November 20th. And I think that one went a lot better. But guys, it's been 2 years. I've had more eye surgeries than anyone else I know, as far as I'm concerned, in regards to plastic surgery, more than anyone else on the planet. So I just want to, take this step by step, and I want to present this as factually as possible. So, we'll give it a few more weeks. I'll be posting a, full surgery video that's probably going to be pretty long, and I'll also do just a second video explaining my experiences with the doctor and everything like that. So, this is not just like a quick fire thing, fix, because that's what's gotten people into trouble in the past.
How in the world is he able to afford to stay in Japan for 2 weeks? He always claims he's poor, but he's able to. I can't afford to even stay a couple of days. I'd have to stay in one of those internet cafes if I was in Japan right now. I just don't get it.
Many types of fruit in Japan are seen as gifts as opposed to regular meals, hence the very high price compared to regular fruits. So this is about 1,700 Japanese yen, which is $12.
$12. Good lordy.
Not seem too crazy, but this is 10 times the price that grapes would normally cost here in Japan, and we're going to try them for you guys. You can kind of see like the special wrapping. It's almost like a gift, you know, like you're presenting it. It's not just a bag of grapes. And I don't get enough views to justify buying expensive stuff, so if you guys really like this, maybe we'll get like the super duper expensive fruit at some of the exclusive stores. Like there was a $100 melon that I didn't want to buy, but these are pretty good. I did try some red ones the other day that the skin was actually kind of dry and leathery, which really turned me off. But
we played the goat video yesterday, KCB.
But these are really pleasant. Like sometimes grapes might have like a slight tannic or like acidic or like a little sharpness to them. These don't at all. They're super duper mellow and it's a mild sweetness and the texture is very consistent. You know, sometimes the grapes might be like a little pulpy and they have like something to them, but no, these are just really, really smooth and the same consistency throughout the whole grape. Now, are these the best grapes I've ever had in my life? I mean, I've had some organic cotton candy grapes that were super, super delicious, but inconsistent. I would say these are worth the money at this price point because of how consistently delicious they are. Like every single grape tastes really, really good. And I've never come across a bad one. So it's like really nice and mild and not super duper sweet and definitely a change of pace compared to American fruit. I would say it's really surprising how mildly sweet these are. There's very little sweetness to them. And normally that wouldn't work because, as I said earlier, grapes will have like a little sharpness, a little bit of acidity, sometimes even some bitterness or some off flavors. But because this doesn't have any of those negative flavors, like even though it barely has any sweetness to it, they're still really, really delicious. Whereas like a normal grape, those would offset it. And they sell these grapes in most supermarkets. And then if you go to gourmet grocery stores, they'll have like more of an expensive fruit selection. But definitely worth trying out if you're here in Japan. Let me know if you guys want me to do like some crazier, more expensive stuff, but I have to take out a new credit card. Many types of
freaking weirdo. Oh boy. But you gotta hand it to him there, yeah. I just don't know where he's getting that money from. But folks, get your questions in. We'll start checking out the posted videos at 10 o'clock p.m. as usual. I'm smoking this one a little bit slower so it doesn't heat up too much. That other one there, it heated up very quickly. He may have an Amex Platinum like mine. I can't really do nothing with mine right now because it's pretty overloaded, but I can write off all the debt on my taxes next year. And to be honest with you, I am going to pay off the remaining back taxes. I have no choice at this point because my premium on my insurance is going up $200, so and I'm paying these jokers $300. Sucks. I just sent the Trans Pro Skater skateboarding. Why? I don't know if I want to look at that. We'll get to it, but of course, naturally, we got to play all the other videos first. We play everything in order. Well, if she is a pro, she must have done enough in order. She must be a good skater, good enough skater to be a pro skater. That's just me. And I'm not trying to knock the whole situation. It's just I'm tired of the labels. Why not just say pro skater? I mean, when you're skating, your junk ain't hanging out or so forth, you know. I mean, if you're skating naked there, that's one thing, but, you know. I don't think they allow that in competition. I wonder whatever happened to Gorlak the Destroyer. I heard she lost weight. Which, I mean, it can be expected. I mean, when you're so fat, the only way you can go pretty much at that point is down. You know, she would definitely... I mean, Ozempic and stuff, that would be perfect for her. You'd have to pay me a lot of money. I mean, I may get a endorsement from Coors Light because I'd sure as hell be tapping the Rockies, that's for sure. That would be some straight up rock climbing. Oh, definitely a bottom. No doubt a bottom. Let me see if she's lost weight. And the answer is no. So, when it comes to rating the whore, she is still currently at -3. And that's being very friendly and conservative. Tap the Rockies! Coors Light! Tap the Rockies! Coors Light! Yeah! Tap the Rockies!
Coors Light, the silver bullet. It's shipped cold to tap the clean taste of the Rockies. Tap the Rockies! Coors
Light! Yes, sir. You'd have to pay me a lot, and I would have to be plied with a lot of liquor to tap the Rockies of Gorlak the Destroyer. And it would be highly unpleasant. I mean, the fact of the matter is that the pictures look really bad. Forbidden Apple Princess. You ate a forbidden apple? Bitch, you ate the whole goddamn orchard. Hey, look at these pictures. Oh, definitely Gorlak. No dubs. What the hell's going on with her face? A little tiny head, big old body. Jeez. That is one tall drink of water. Well, maybe she did lose some weight. Possibly. No. Yeah, in accordance to whether I would smash Dubs or Gorlak, I would smash Gorlak. Because at the very least, she is a... Well, I wouldn't say 10, 10, 10. Maybe 100, 100, 100. 1,000. But man, after I got finished, I swear to God, I would have to wipe all the bacon grease off of me. I mean, I could use the bacon grease for lubricant, but that's not the point, folks. That is one big woman. Oh, she has lost weight. She has been a lot fatter. I wonder how many pounds... I don't know what's wrong with Sean G's cooking skills. It's not that hard to cook, folks. I mean, really. It's not rocket science. But Sean G and people like Sean G and Genova just make it look so bad. I mean, seriously. Now, I will show you my secret clam sauce. You know, I never finished playing my cooking recipes. Here's my magic clam sauce. So I'll saute some garlic and all that other stuff. And then my secret is I'll pour an entire can, everything in, with that, let it simmer down, and then you just pour it on the linguine. Just pour the whole thing in there. What's up, Nick? And that's my clam sauce. This here is my beef Florentine pinwheel. Right here. That's my beef Florentine pinwheel. What do you think? What do you think, Dale? What do you think? See, this is the proper way of cooking.
G'day, here we are today.
That's something that Genova will never make. Yep. You're exactly right. Oh boy. Get your questions in. Yeah, you know, I'm actually kind of surprised. I got a lot of recipes. Alright, I'm going to start playing videos in a couple of minutes. This cigar is coming out okay. I definitely miss the randomness. Some of these videos I just can't even play anymore. Vince, do you remember when Jason freaked out on... Oh yeah, I definitely remember that. Although he's pretty much freaked out at everyone at some point in time. You mean the recipe? I may do that. But now is not the time. See this thing, if you can hear the popping, that's the cigar. But let's go ahead and get started. Hopefully this cigar will hold up at least until it gets down to a sufficient level to think that where I've actually got my money's worth. I mean, it's a great smoking cigar and it's got a lot of flavor to it. But the problem with Cuban sandwiches is that they just disintegrate at some point in time. Because it's all short filler. It's not going to matter if I twist or jab. It's just going to disintegrate when I'm done with it. God, I hope you timestamp that. Yep.
large dogs. Right. Yeah, more women fuck dogs than anybody's willing to admit or talk about. Clara said recently you only talk shit about him because you're jealous. That's not true. I wouldn't trade places with Andrew Kalura. I mean, come on, man. I wouldn't trade places with him for $1 million years. I mean, for $1 million. I'm not jealous of him. I think Andrew's a decent guy. I just never liked him. You know, that's just me. I never liked him. I never liked his sense of humor. That's just me. It has nothing to do with jealousy. Andrew has a good sense of humor. If you like it, he's very dry. He's somewhat intelligent, but I call what Andrew is like pseudo intelligent. Like Andrew, I don't even think that guy went to community college. I don't think. When was the last time Andrew like read a book? But he tries to play like he's this intellectual. Because he read the Bible a few times, and because he was guilty, felt guilty because he sucked cock. Feeling guilty after you suck cock and then reading the Bible doesn't make you intellectual. It just makes you a guy that sucked cock that turned to the Bible. Right? See my train of thought? Sucking cock and then reading the Bible doesn't raise your intelligence.
No, I wouldn't play the role.
You're just still a guy that sucked cock and then read the Bible. Come on, man. He would have had the greatest bench press in history with proper guidance. I agree with that. His 650 raw with no shirt, amazing. The fact the fact that Andrew Kalura was so stupid and naive that he let Lenny coach him. Now, 20 years later or whatever, Andrew Kalura wants to play the part of an intellectual. Come on, man. I mean, the guy's got no education, no career. I mean, what's he? I mean, Andrew Kalura wants to throw stones at me. Have at it, brah. Once I'm retired, I'm gonna buy your church and fucking bulldoze the motherfucker. Make your parents cry. Andrew is like a cat. That'd be funny if I bought, when I retire, if I bought Kalura's church and then I set it on fire. What if I filmed a porn in Kalura's church with Lenny being butt fucked by a black tranny? Then I set the church on fire. Do any of the misfits have a degree besides you? Great question. I believe Prince Andrew has a bachelor's degree from the University of Connecticut, the Huskies. Other than that, you're dealing with uneducated fucking rubes. Right. Look at Brad. Grew up in the luxury of Boca Raton, Florida.
I wouldn't exactly call Boca Raton luxury. It's just filled with fucking old folks. It's literally a giant retirement home.
And he couldn't make it.
Well, I can't say that word.
Anything of himself. Brad's parents have the money. He could have gone to college. But he chose to fucking flip-flop, between relationships, leave children with single moms along the way, try and hide in Las Vegas from his child support. College education is a complete joke. Well, that's a great topic. I agree with you. But look, I got a bachelor's degree. No one can ever take it away from me. I did sports. I had fun. Remember, I was an athlete. So college was a way for me to continue high school. Okay? Why wouldn't you do that? But I mean, some guys go into the army or go work on a factory when they graduate high school. I got to go to college and do sports and drink and fuck sorority girls. Doesn't sound too bad to me. I mean, everyone likes to, whatever.
Always a library of mints from Jay Masters. That 7-hour poolside chat was... You could just see a person just go deeper and deeper into degradation.
When you talk about the 90s, which many people call the pinnacle of bodybuilding,
good friend Tom Prince. Like I said before, folks, if it wasn't for Tom Prince, I would have never got my supplement business off the ground. It would have been it would have still been a shithole without Tom Prince.
In an era where everyone had crazy original physiques, competing with all-time bests like Ronnie Coleman. The lineup was so stacked, you can't just leave names out. One of those names is Tom Prince. This man pushed the limits.
Why take the risk?
But some bodybuilders take it too far. Because everyone wants to win. Everybody's looking for that little edge. If you're slugging off of the day of the competition, you're talking about a whole year's training down the toilet. They can make a difference from 4th place to 1st place. They would resort to anything, not bodybuilders, everybody, to get to be the best they could be.
Anything to be the best, to win.
Well, I'm just looking to get myself in shape and be ready that day. Philosophy to it. In other words, just let's control what we can control. I can control my workouts, my diet, how much cardio I'm doing, how much I'm posing. As far as like my placing, you can't control that, but all you can do is get yourself in shape.
He only shined as a pro for 5 years. He was hardcore.
Okay, back to the heavyweights. When Tom Crimms walks into a room, he gets more than just casual looks and started training
practically just about every 90s bodybuilder that was on that pro stage can literally kill the pros of today. Literally. Would destroy them on stage.
2 years ago.
Let me show you this again, folks. When is the last time you've seen this on a pro stage? Literally. When? You don't see that kind of definition anymore. Everyone is just slobs on the stage at this point in time. That is a result of rock hard training. People in the 90s just used to train a lot harder. And it's a lot more dense and it shows.
All of them are so good that, just because you're second or third place doesn't mean you're a bad bodybuilder, a bad athlete, doesn't mean you don't look good. One person I really ever have to beat is, in my mind, is myself. We need to make take every step possible to make sure that judging is.
You also notice in the 90s they wore suits. They weren't wearing those jumpers and stuff like that. They came to press conferences all nice and dressed up like professionals. I wish we need to see more of this here. Suits. I especially remember Ronnie Coleman's big giant blue suit that he was wearing.
We need to make take every step possible to make sure that judging is always fair. Now, I personally think that judging is fair. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it, but that doesn't mean we still shouldn't keep looking at it. In a subjective sport, we're looking at something subjectively. If the same judge is looking at it, then that subjectivity never changes. They always have the same point of view. So that's why you need to keep the fresh judges. I understand where he's coming from. One set we're using some real, a little bit of real weight.
Tom was probably, one of the bright stars of the 1990s. Tom was an intellectual. He was a really smart guy, and he really burst onto the scene. A lot of people don't know the NPC Nationals. That was the year, basically, Don Long had the basic block for the victory in that show. And after the first call-out, they'd gone through all the call-outs on stage, and no one knew who Tom was.
I mean, just look at all the people wearing suits, folks. Suits. I wish they did that. I wish they still did that.
Tom wasn't even in the first call out. And then all of a sudden, I remember one of the judges, he said, I want to see this guy. I don't even know if anyone knew his name. They had called out the top guys again, and they threw Tom Prince in there. And people realized this guy was unbelievable during that's I think, when the bodybuilding world first was made aware of who Tom Prince was.
But, for me personally, it's, the Olympia was never something that, it almost never seemed real, Public think that bodybuilders are just like stupid muscleheads. You can't really turn pro and be stupid at the same time. When you get into bodybuilding, when you first started at the gym, You know, you never even think, like, maybe one day I'll be competing at the Olympia or got a chance to make top 10 at the Olympia. Sure, that's too, you know, you can't touch that or whatever. You know, I thought one day I could be a pro, but, you know, I mean, the Olympia is so far out there, like, you never even dream of that. It wasn't until I actually turned pro that I started thinking about it, like, oh, maybe I can get a shot to do this. You know? It took a couple years to be able to figure out how to get it right.
Anytime you're at the height of your career and you're doing something that you really love, and Tom loved bodybuilding, and you get that taken away from you, it's hard because you have to try to then redefine who you are, almost recreate who you are.
2002, you have your last show, and then you just kind of disappeared, man. What? Give us the skinny on
that. You know what? My personality is such that I am either all in or all out.
You know, I remember the first time Pumping Iron was on PBS when I was 10 years old. You know, my dad actually brought me upstairs to watch it, and he and I sat there and watched Pumping Iron. I fell in love with bodybuilding from that day. And I knew, you know, it took a few more years to get into it. I didn't really get into it until I was 16. That was really where it started. And I knew from that, like at the age of 10, I knew I wanted to be a bodybuilder.
You're only as good as the guy you stand next to. You stood next to some of the best in the world. Right. It's hard to believe you only had a 5-year pro run.
Go till the wheels fell off, Like they tell you, you're done. Like, I'm done, I'm good. I did everything I wanted to do and then some.
Night of Champions, we played. I loved how you looked at it, but you were a freak. It's always good to have that one show where you actually put it all together and you look your absolute best.
The heaviest I ever got was 318.
The most muscular Tom Prince is also the top heavyweight. After 2 second-place finishes, Prince is king of the heavyweight.
He was hardcore, always kept it real, someone who just loved the game, the daily grind of getting better against all odds.
It. Other than doing cardio twice, eating my meals.
Yeah, a lot of people expected him to die once he had that diagnosis and everything like that, but after the kidney disorder and everything. But he just kept going, you know, and stuff. I mean, I thought he was going to be all right once he got the kidney transplant, but it just failed and everything, and then that was pretty much it, you know, and stuff. But you know what, folks? Sometimes it's not how you die there. It's how you live, you know. It's all that matters here, you know. It's been gone for a couple of years now, but, you know. Like I said, he helped me start my business there, you know, and everything. Got me hooked up with suppliers that wouldn't even talk to me originally because I was selling vitamin power stuff. He hooked me up with Brian Garhart of Europa Sports, a couple of other people, Genesis Nutrition. Showed me a couple ways of selling supplements and stuff. Like I said, all around good guy, folks, you know. And this is even when he was dealing with his own problems. He was always around to help out, you know. Now, I want you guys just to understand that, you know. There's a lot of dickheads in the industry like Don Long, who was basically shitting all over me, and Flex and a couple of other people, but not Tom. Tom was cool.
There's a saying that I resonate with, and it's that a good parent or a good father may not be a good father, but a bad father may be a good father. The same can be said with anything, even being an artist. A good tattoo artist may not be a good tattoo artist, but a bad tattoo artist may be a good tattoo artist. The way that I look at that is it's one of self-reflection and perspective, in that if you put at the very front that you're so good at these things, that here's the things that you've accomplished, that you've done really well, you're probably not putting into the front of your mind the things that you're bad at, the things that you can improve on. And I had that conversation today during a workout with Don and Thyris, and it's not that we're not grateful. It's not that we don't look at the effort and the time that it takes to get to where we are, because those things that we're good at, we spent a lot of time and energy to focus and improve on being a good parent, on being a good artist, on being a good person. But I think it's important to always keep at the top of the mind, what are some of the things that I can improve on? What are some of my weaknesses? What are some of the areas of frustration that I have? And these are all things that internally our conscience will bring up to the surface, and it'll guide us. It'll bring a sense of awareness on what are some of the things that we need improvement on. And if we don't put that at the front, we may put at the very front, here's some things that I'm really good at, my life is great, I'm doing well. But if you do that, you stagnate, you stay the same, you plateau. So find a couple of those things that even though you may be great, you may excel at certain areas, or you may not be that great. What are some areas of improvement that you can find, fix on, and focus for the day? He's
definitely right about that there, you know. That's some sound advice, considering how we discovered him, you know. Sometimes around piles of shit like Wes Watson, a flower grows out like Andy Poe.
Holy shit. He said what?
Black History Month you find ridiculous. Why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? No, well, come on. Tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay. Which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh. Why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
All right. I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism?
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman.
Holy.
I don't think that other clip went with the other one, but yeah. I remember when Mike Wallace got destroyed, literally destroyed by Louis Farrakhan. Farrakhan just literally lit Mike Wallace up. He lit him up. Let me show you this clip. This is how you destroy someone, literally. Watch this, folks.
If I went to Israel, I don't think Israel would be the best place for me to be at this time, considering the view that most Jews have of Louis Farrakhan.
You go to Nigeria, which is, if not the most corrupt nation in Africa, and it is, it could be the most corrupt nation in the world, Minister Farrakhan.
Oh, now, Mr. Wallace.
It is the most corrupt nation that I have ever covered. I've been there 25 years ago, and I've been there as recently as last year.
Fine. So what? 35 years old. That's what that nation is. Now, here's America, 226 years old. You love democracy, but there in Africa, you're trying to force these people into a system of government that you just have accepted 30 years ago, black folk got the right to vote. You're not in any moral position to tell anybody how corrupt they are. You should be quiet and let those of us who know our people go there and help them get out of that condition. But America should keep her mouth shut wherever there's a corrupt regime, as much hell as America has raised on the earth. No, I will not allow America, or you, Mr. Wallace, to condemn them as the most corrupt nation on earth when you have spilled the blood of human beings. Has Nigeria dropped an atomic bomb and killed people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Have they killed off millions of Native Americans? How dare you put yourself in that position as a moral judge? I think you should keep quiet, because with that much blood on America's hands, you have no right to speak. I will speak, because I don't have that blood on my hand. Yes, there's corruption.
Well, there is Malcolm X, though, but, you know, he went off on a tangent, but let's finish.
Yes, there's mismanagement of resources. Yes, there is abuse. There's abuse in every nation on earth, including this one. So let's not play holy to moralize on them. Let's help.
I'm not moralizing. I'm asking a question, and I got an answer.
Why would you put it as the most corrupt regime in the world? That doesn't make sense.
Can you think of one more corrupt?
Yeah, I'm living in one. I'm living in one. Yes, you've done a hell of a thing on this earth, so you should not be the one to talk. You should be quiet when it comes to moral condemnation. In my judgment. I didn't mean to be so fired.
No, that's good. It's good.
Oh, boy. Yeah, Mike Wallace, he's done some great interviews in his day and stuff, rest his soul, but there are some times where you just walk into, when you just literally walk into something you shouldn't have, you know, and you get caught. He got caught, that's for sure. And he laughed about it, you know, just like a good reporter did, because he knew that, yeah, he's right. He's right.
You have bubbles on your hand during a work interview, and your hairnet is stupid.
At least I have hair.
You have bubbles.
This looks like regular dental floss, but it's actually a full...
Oh, boy.
Being sober is crazy? I'm not fucking sober. I'm on pre-gab. Are you kidding me? I don't think I've ever done a sober stream in my entire life. Being sober is crazy? I'm not fucking sober. I'm on pre-gab. Are you kidding me? I don't think I've ever done a sober stream.
Yes, and we can tell you've never done a sober stream. I mean, I remember that video with Jack Doherty where you had literally 2 bottles of alcohol in your hands. Just crazy. Just pure insanity.
Here's an old Jay Masters favorite from the 80s. Like a chicken boy on the mountainside. Chicken boy on the mountainside. Do-do, do-do-do-do. Jay Masters in his convertible Z28, blasting it. On the campus of Eastern Michigan. In a big country, stay with you like a chicken boy on the mountainside. Stay in the dorm. In a big university, Jay stays indoors like a chicken boy on the mountainside. Stay inside with the social anxiety. Jay stays indoors like a chicken boy on the mountainside. Stay indoors. Video games. Do-do, do-do-do-do.
Oh boy. We'll come back to another Big Lenny video in just a minute. I don't know who that person is, but she looks like she could skate pretty well. Let's do... All right. So it looks like we got all the videos in. I knew it would be pretty quick, but that's quite all right. Still got a lot of content. A whole lot. Oh, and we got the Voidzilla too as well that I want to play.
Trump has ordered an Epstein investigation. This is brand new. We're going to go through it because previously they said we didn't have enough evidence. This all got started 2 days ago when House Democrats released 3 emails that seem to implicate...
Not that one, not that one. Where's the other one? State of the...
Hello, welcome back to The Void. It's business talk time. No, I'm not on fire. Those are just my GPUs. I want to talk about the state of AI. Obviously, everyone's been asking, is it a bubble? Now, as someone who is terminally online, I have looked high and low for every conceivable opinion, and there are a lot of them, and I created a little slideshow. The state of the bubble. First opinion, Jim Cramer, the GOAT, saying, don't listen to the skeptics, keep an open AI mind, and he's a believer.
Even though there are countless AI skeptics, the market clearly believes that OpenAI can afford to spend tens of billions of dollars on AMD's highest-end chip.
AI is saving me a lot of money, so I'm not going to complain. It could, at the same time, put me out of a job and everything. Well, it's highly doubtful. By the time it puts me out of a job, I would have been retired already. Like I said, folks, I got 14 years left, and I will be able to collect Social Security, so I'm going to be fine. I don't know about you guys, but, you know, I'm looking out for numero uno. In every lifespan, you know, I've already encountered my problems, my issues, you know, gone through my trials and tribulations, and they're just about over with, you know, to where I don't have to worry about anything that's coming up or anything, because I've saved for my retirement and everything like that, and you got people living paycheck to paycheck. The only reason why I don't is because I'm old, you know, and over time I've saved that money, you know, and stuff. So, yeah.
Chips, in addition to NVIDIA's chips, I know that I am a believer.
Now, on the other hand, you have people questioning all the amount of investment in these AI companies. Someone actually asked Mark Zuckerberg, you know, all this money you're investing, is it worth it? Mark says, you know, maybe we're going to misspend, but it's worth the risk.
It's a lot of money. It is. And if we end up misspending a couple of $100 billion, I think that is going to be very unfortunate, obviously. But what I'd say is I actually think the risk is higher on the other side. If you build too slowly, and then super intelligence is possible in 3 years, but you built it out assuming it would be there in 5 years, then you're just out of position on what I think is going to be the most important technology that enables the most new products and innovation and value creation in history.
Obviously, it's from a CEO's perspective in big tech. You have to get on board the ship just in case it takes off and becomes the biggest product ever. But then you also have people, outsiders maybe like Hank Green, who are looking at a series of bubbles and saying maybe this is a bubble.
It took a little bit of time for me to parse, and once I did, it kind of terrified me. I'm going to show it to you as well. What a good little visualization we have on our hands here. How NVIDIA and OpenAI fuel the AI money machine. It just seems messy. It seems like bubble mechanics to me, you guys.
So yeah, Hank Green says maybe looks like bubble mechanics. I'm going to remind you guys that we're doing short clips here, so I'll leave the links to the full things below if you want to watch the full videos, get their whole perspective on the thing. This is obviously a very truncated version of that. I'm just trying to give you a sense of the wide variety of takes on this whole thing. We have Paul Tudor Jones saying that if there's a bubble, it's a very small bubble.
54% of fund managers think that we're in an AI bubble. If it's a bubble, it's a small one. If you think about the bubbles of the past 3 or 4 decades, the Nikkei in 89, NASDAQ in 99, biotech 2000, just after 2011, 12, China 2007, all those were 400 to 600% gains. The NASDAQ's up 200% off the bottom. So I don't know whether we're going to blow off like we did in 1999. Is it possible? Are all the ingredients in place? I think clearly they are. For me, the one thing that you can never, ever forget is that a year from today, assuming that the president gets his wishes, that the Fed funds rate's going to probably be 2.5% overnight rates or 2.75. That's a really compelling story for higher equity prices.
So there you go. All the ingredients might be in place, but it could go higher from here is Paul's point because of some macroeconomics. Then you also have the perspective that actually it's a huge bubble, not a small one. According to one analyst, the AI bubble is 17 times the size of the dot-com frenzy and 4 times the subprime. And then you even have takes that like, yes, it's a bubble, but it's not going to pop yet. I've seen that a lot.
Are we in an AI bubble? Of course. Right? You know, we were into that bubble. You know, of course we are. I mean, you know, we're hyped. We're accelerating.
I mean, the biggest key about and reason why everyone's jumping on AI is simply due to the fact that it's replacing jobs here. With AI, it allows me to, you know, have marketing, have a marketing person. I don't have to pay for them or anything like that. Like I said before, the Centra AI is doing great work for me, and you know, a lot of businesses are augmenting it. I've had to augment mine as well, and it's worked spectacular. It's gonna create my t-shirts too on top of that. What do you think? What do you think about that, Dale? What do you think?
We're putting enormous leverage into the system. You know, that said, I don't see it ending for several years.
On top of that, of course, we have the opinion, I didn't represent it too much here, but that it's a bubble and that it's bad. This is probably most spearheaded by Ed Zitron.
The big question is whether or not all of this AI spending is a bubble.
Yes, you have committed to failure. There is no doing this. If they gave every dollar just to Sam Altman, the guy who can't even tell you why you're giving the money to him. No one else has a big business doing this. Even Claude Code with Anthropic, which is theoretically meant to be super popular, $33 million a month. That's less than the Cincinnati Reds make.
Ed's argument basically boils down to they're spending way too much money on AI. It doesn't justify itself in revenues, and perhaps the industry is just a much smaller industry than people are betting on. It's not going to be some $1 trillion industry. And then finally, you have of course the perspective that yes, it's a bubble, but it's good. It's a good thing that it's a bubble. Actually,
if you go back, like the 90s had a biotech bubble, and there were a bunch of pharma startup companies that were designing drugs and using new techniques, and the world got very excited. The investment world got very excited. As a group, they all lost money. but we did get a couple of life-saving drugs. A bubble like a banking bubble, the crisis in the banking system, that's just bad. That's like 2008. And so those bubbles society wants to avoid. The ones that are industrial are not nearly as bad. They could even be good, because when the dust settles and you see who are the winners, society benefits from those inventions. They still get those life-saving drugs. And that's what's going to happen here too. This is real. The benefits to society from AI are going to be gigantic.
Well, there it is. There's all the possible perspectives I could find on AI. It's not a bubble. It is a bubble. It's a small bubble. It's a big bubble. It's a bad bubble. It's a good bubble. And I just want to remind you that nobody really knows what the future holds. Lest you want to go ahead and short the market, just know that timing the market is never really that easy and usually fails. So I'm certainly not advocating anyone run out and change their financial position. I just wanted to summarize what has been confusing me lately, which is that I've been looking at this industry wondering, is it a bubble? And if so, how big? And when is it going to pop, if ever? And so far, I've heard from a lot of people, some smart, some not, and almost no one agrees. Well, at least on the specifics. I should say, as I was reviewing this, I was like, well, actually, most people think it is a bubble of some kind. It's just like, is it a good bubble, bad? Like, what type is it? That's where everyone disagrees. I will say it was hard to find people who said there's no overspending going on. I think I even found a Sam Altman quote saying that, in a private dinner, he acknowledged that maybe some people are going to overspend. So I think most people who are paying attention, I guess I should say, will admit it's frothy. But exactly how bad things are, how unsustainable things are, is where everyone just kind of wildly disagrees.
It is the future, folks, and a lot of people are going to be put out of jobs in about 20 years or so. But again, folks, not going to care. Turn 62, I don't get Medicare, but I will be able to get $2,300 a month. From Social Security, if it's still around. Who knows? If it isn't around, I better get a goddamn refund. I'm going to be honest with you, folks. Because of all the money I've made over the years, if I had taken out all the money in Social Security and invested it, with a 5% return, I'd probably have at least $4 or $5 million. That's no joke, folks. But, I mean, for a lot of other people, they would have literally screwed up the money, bought fried chicken and crack or something like that, Or golf clubs, or something like that. I would have just sat on it, to be honest with you. But, yeah, AI is going to be, for you guys that are in your 20s, man, it's going to be, I mean, I hate to tell you guys this, folks. Yeah, probably more than that, The only problem is there, Ryan, is that I know how to invest my money, It's like the gold I bought there. I've literally doubled it, I mean, I've actually tripled it. Because I bought it at $1,800, now it's almost $6,000, It's crazy. Or actually, it's over $4,000 now an ounce. And people can't really figure that type of stuff out there, I mean, I'm not joking. They'll spend it on fried chicken and crack or golf clubs or some other tea shop or anything like that. And I'm not talking about just black folks, white folks. You know why? Because we're in a society to where everyone wants something now. They'll go out, they'll take that money, they'll buy a brand new car, houses and everything. Literally speaking, there are so many people in America that are so underwater on their houses, underwater on their cars, underwater on practically everything. And it's at a point to where, one little thing goes wrong. Your health goes bad. You have a medical emergency and you're done. I mean, you're just done. You literally just have nothing, So let's play a good old classic Vince Goodrum in speaking with this. Like I said, we got plenty of time. We're going to go back to the archives because I don't want to always discuss this here with you. I want you to check this out, and I will explain to you in a big, beautiful way as far as to... where's the video at? Jeez. When you have over 2,500 videos, things do get lost in translation. Man, I got a lot of videos. But it's okay. Oh boy. So, where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? Here we go. Financial advice, part 1. Why do I live in a single wide mobile home? I will speed this up because the spook that's making this video talks a little bit too slow.
What's going on, everybody? Vince Goodrum here. It is Thursday, midnight, 12:30 in the morning. Just got back from the social lounge. Nice drag show there. Hung out, had a few drinks and everything like that. It's pretty much good for hump day.
Update, I don't go to drag shows anymore. Or at least I've not been to one in a while.
Now I'm back at home. I'm going to smoke my Gurkha Hudson Bay in just a minute there. But the reason why I'm making this video is, I wanted to discuss something that, a lot of people have been asking me about, but I've really not addressed it because, simply put, this is a comedy channel. This is a Piss Trooper channel. This is a Lake Genova channel. This channel is for mints. I like ridiculing and making fun of idiots and jackasses, such as Blaha, Vegan Gains, Frank Tufano and everything like that. But, there's not much happening with these guys. I've already discussed Vegan Gains too much. I'm going to give that a break unless he does something real stupid. Frank Tufano, he's still a makeup-wearing motherfucker. I think the last time I checked one of his videos, he's complaining about flood water and, almost getting his electricity cut off or something like that. I am aware of the Blackstone Labs indictments. That's just a Titanic, You're going to find a lot of people pleading guilty. This case is going to end very violently as far as the Blackstone Labs indictment is concerned, so I don't feel like really talking about that.
And it did end very violently, too. Except for one person.
Just like O-Dog said to somebody else, we got to do that shit later, I want to talk to you guys today because a lot of people have been asking about my home. Why is the Great One living in a single-wide prefab home? Well, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of financial advice, okay? First off, when it comes to homes, a lot of people make the mistake of trying to, get as much credit as they possibly can and buy the house that they can not afford, but what they can actually get their hands on, okay? They'll max out loans, and then even when they get the home, they'll put in $50,000 to $100,000 in upgrades. And then they're spending the rest of their fucking lives working. There's some of them, if you go in any grocery store or other locations, you'll see always a 70 or 80-year-old person up there bagging groceries, or they're a greeter at Walmart. And the reason being is because they're still paying off their homes, which they'll never do. And once they pass away, they can't pass it down to their kids. No bank will probably just seize it there. And here's the thing, people. A lot of people make the same mistake. Bank gives them a high amount that they could spend money on, $200,000, $300,000. And they just basically go shopping with money that they do not have, period. Now, if you have a big family and you have a need for a home, that's perfectly fine. That's your business. It's your money. You're free to do what you want to do with it. Here's the thing about me, however. I am just one man, okay? Now, I can afford a home that's $250,000. That's based upon, you know, when I went to the bank. I mean, I have over $80,000, you know, in cash in the bank, essentially from saving and from my investments here. Actually, a little bit more than that, but, you know. So obviously, I have the collateral in order to get myself a pretty nice home. But yet, I live in a $50,000 prefab single wide home, and here's the reason being. Because it works for me. It's 2-bedroom, 900 square feet. How much room does one person need? I have a nice master bedroom. I have a exercise room / office where I can do my work from home, and I can get on my GFH Flex home gym. I can get on my Bowflex cardio trainer. So I'm able to do everything that other places can't do, you know, in other words. You know, I'm able to do everything and anything as if I purchased a 2-bedroom house, okay? And these are houses there, you know. They call them mobile homes, but there's nothing mobile about it. It's not fucking going anywhere. You know, 90% of mobile homes, once they're put there, they're going to stay there, period. Mine's going to stay right where it is, unless otherwise. But even with that, it would run about $3,000 for me to move it. No big deal or anything like that. And part of the reason why I bought it is because I wanted to have what's called economic flexibility, you know? While you can afford, you can afford to buy a $200,000 or $300,000 home, it doesn't mean that you should, okay? Now I can buy one of those homes, but why do so, you know? The benefits of buying this home is, number one, well, it's paid off there basically, you know? Number two, you know, I'm free to invest in other things. I have other properties that I've invested in, you know, land, stuff out in Texas and everything like that. But the best thing about it is it gives me spending flexibility. You know what I mean? My bills are pretty much lower than most other people. I can take a minimum wage job at $7.25 and I can still afford to live the way I'm living right now, smoke my nice Nicaraguan or my Dominican roll cigars here, okay? Folks, you got to be a little more smart about your on how you should spend your money. You got to get a lot more smarter, you know? Too many people are overspending. They're going above their needs in order to impress some imaginary friends. And when I say imaginary, it's quite simple. You know, when you buy a house, you throw a nice big house party, you know, you have a bunch of friends over. Afterwards, they leave, you know? That's it. You know, they'll come over to watch football or something like that. But you're going to be working all these hours just to pay for that house there, you know? And then people are paying $400 or $500 a month for nice vehicles, you know, big giant Escalades and stuff like that. The great one doesn't fall for that. My cars are paid for. My Cadillac is paid for. My Mercedes is paid for. I have never had a brand new car ever in my life there, ever. You know?
And I have still never had a brand new car in my life, ever.
So when I say I have flexibility, I mean I really have flexibility. And that's why I have this house. That's why I have used cars. My Mercedes is, 28 years old. My Cadillac is, it's about to be 20 years old next year. But they're paid for. Home paid for, you know? When you're not making payments on homes or cars or anything like that, you'll have a lot less stress in life there. And that's the biggest thing. I don't really have any stress because I don't really have any fucking bills, you know? I don't have any car payments, and because I don't have car payments, I don't need to have collision. So I can get minimum insurance here, you know? Because I don't need collision because my cars are paid for. So I save a bunch of money there for 2 cars, you know? House payments. And the good thing about a Clayton mobile home is it's very energy efficient there, you know? I use the hell out of hot water, and I use the hell out of air conditioning. My bill is still like $70 a month, even in the wintertime, you know?
Yeah, now it's like 110, but who's counting?
That's a good thing about having a Clayton Eclipse 60 single wide home. Electric bills are very minimal, you know? Period. I'm just keeping it real and telling it like it is, you know? The only downside to it is it doesn't impress anyone. It's a very boring home, you know? I mean, you can see the little straps around it there, you know, it's not, you know, they're not flashy, you know, you can clearly tell that this is a mobile home. This is a single wide. I don't have marble counters. I have Formica, you know. I have general appliances, you know. I mean, basically, whenever I moved into here, I mean, it was boring as hell. It's just basically a box. But here's the thing. I made the best use of it. I have a Primo water cooler. You guys have seen my wine bar, my wine and whiskey, and my cigar bar. You guys have seen my bedroom, you know, Monticello furniture, you know, hardwood, best, you know. And the thing about it is it's not what you get, it's how you make your home there, you know. It's quite simple. And I have taken a box, you know, a very, what I would consider, and most people consider, a boring home, and I've turned it into a nice, humble abode. Not spending high mortgages or anything like that, you know. And even today, I'm still finding ways to cut down on my billing. You know, now I only pay $20 for internet, you know. How about that? I'm going to cut off the Dish Network there pretty soon. Save myself another $82, okay?
And then, of course, because I'm now live streaming, we spend a little over $200 on internet. So things change there, you know. So,
folks, you got to get more smarter about your finances here. If you are looking to buy a house, or whether you buy an apartment, the amount of money you should spend on an apartment there should only be 30% of what you bring home every single month there. So let's say your rent is $800. That means that you really should be making a little over $25,000, okay? Or excuse me, not $25,000, $2,500 a month if you have an $800 rent. The problem is most people, when they get these big, giant, enormous mortgages here, usually it's like 60 or 75%, and that's where you get into some serious trouble because, you know, with a big house, you got to impress other people with big cars and everything like that. So most of your money's gone. You have very little savings, and if something happens, like you get into an accident where, you know, what happens to most people, they lose a job, you are fucked. Your car is going to be seized, your house is going to be seized, you're going to be left nothing but your fucking underwear and maybe some house slippers, and that's about it. You're going to be walking outside, you know, picking food from the garbage can and stuff like that. That's not going to be me. That's the worst case scenario. But let's say you're able to struggle at your job that you hate there. You know, when you retire, you're still going to have house payments because over the course of 20, 30 years, you know, you're going to have to do upgrades. You know, you're going to have to fix it and remodel it. This home, I could throw this motherfucker in the trash. I mean, literally, I could throw this house in the trash, go buy myself another mobile home if I want. But actually, I'm just going to remodel as well. And remodeling a single wide home is very inexpensive there. A lot more inexpensive than a house. But at the same time, if I wanted to, I could throw this motherfucker in a garbage can. Seriously. And just go and buy myself a brand new one. You know why? Because these things don't cost that much, you know? Just keeping it real and telling it like it is, people. So, you know, like I said, I don't really get too much into providing financial information. You know, that's entirely up to you. You know, you got to be your own problem solver in life, you know? The great one can only tell you the things that I do, but you don't have to do what I tell you. I'm just giving you something to think about. That's all. That, and a lot of people always ask me, oh, the great one lives in a mobile home. If he's so big and bad, why does he live in a mobile home? It's called stealth wealth, you idiots, you know? Because I live here, and it's paid for, because my cars are paid for, that means I have more money going into the bank each and every month, you know? It's going to allow me to retire early, you know? I'm not going to spend the rest of my freaking life working or greeting people at Kmart or Walmart, or, well, there's hardly any Kmart stuff, so we'll just say Walmart. You know? Be a little bit more smarter about how you spend, okay? Smarten the fuck up there, really. So, you guys want to know why I live in a single wide home? That's the fucking reason why I live in a single wide home, okay? I can buy something more expensive, but why? You know? While other people are remodeling, I can remodel just as well, or I can throw this motherfucking house out in the garbage can, you know? That's all I got to say today, people.
Yep, that's indeed right. I could take this mobile home, I can throw it out in the garbage can if I want. Go buy myself another one. Literally. But like I said, I've already done some remodeling. Replace the dishwasher. You know, replace the microwave, restain the deck. I'm patching up a couple of things. You know, just the general stuff that you would do with any other home itself there, you know. I don't care about depreciating I mean, people also try to buy homes because they appreciate in value, but by the time you put money into the house itself, you know, you're already, you know, that appreciation doesn't mean diddly do. You're still making payments on it. You're probably, a lot of people, by the time they pay off their loan, what they're paying is more than what their house is actually worth. And that's where the house flipping business comes in, you know, literally.
Good fucking morning.
As I think about the damn fucking fat little freak. Where'd you get married? There we go. You've heard of Hulkamania, right? Yes, I have. A phony farce. You doing that, Hogan? Huh? I heard about you. Acting like the biggest prick. Mania means Hulkamania. Lifetime Hulkamania, square trading vitamins. This is what you get. Big money. Mel Chauncey, so-called Hell's Angel. Like that's supposed to scare me? That's for you, Chauncey! Yeah. Beautiful town. PJ. I'll volunteer myself. I'll take a place of your club, though. How's that? I first heard about being messed with his own. Hold on, brother. 20 years since I messed with football.
Here, fatty.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your
Here, fatty. Here, fatty. Here, fatty. Fatty, 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 fatty.
Search ECW. What the fuck are we seeing right now, ladies and gentlemen? Holy shit! Holy shit!
We won't see that type of mince anymore. I'll check it.
Remember, I can't have any junk. Adam's not going to allow that. I'm going to tell you what I can have and I can't have. Me on super camera. Get this. Hopefully I'll be doing a video with PJ in January. I'm just a stupid film man. Get the big one, $9.98. It's cheap. That's a deal. The big one. Not that one. The big one in the big box. You get a lot for $9.98. Give me two. That's not gonna last. It's gonna last at all. It's gonna last, what, a day? Bananas. Let's show the bananas. Let's show me picking up the banana. All you gotta do is don't touch anything. That's all. Just hold it. It's going. Don't put your finger on it.
Man, it's hot in here. Woo! Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I'm getting bananas.
Whoa!
Filming now. Don't touch anything until it's done 20 minutes. Tell me when it's 20.
Man, it's hot in here.
No, it's not.
Woo! You ain't human. It's hot. It's cornbread. Good old cornbread.
I'm gonna show what I'm gonna be getting on my diet. Tell me. You gotta be a freak. Boy, you gotta be a freak. YouTube.com. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace out.
All right, let's see what you got, Ryan. forgot about this one here. Yeah, we could play this. This is early on. This was at the time where I was still trying to get back to competing, which, well, we all know what happened.
What's going on, everybody? Vince Goodrum here. It is Sunday evening, and I was about to turn in a little bit early, and I know a lot of you guys have been asking me what I've been doing as far as meal plans as well as the supplements that I'm taking right now. And I thought I'd just make this video here just to show you guys how I pretty much do things. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'm going to make this really quick. Alright, so the first thing we're going to start is with the meals itself here. You know, I prepare all of these usually on a Saturday or Sunday. The time that it takes me to prepare meals is about an hour. I create on basis about a total of 12 meals. This week, however, I made I actually made one extra one there, which consists of 5 breakfasts, 4 lunches, and 4 dinners. And the reason being is because, you know, that just the maximum amount of time that you can actually make a meal without having some spoilage issues, in my opinion, is about 4 to 5 days. So I try to round out like that. The other meals I actually keep frozen, which is usually something like ahi tuna or something more of a light fare basis. So let's go ahead and get this opened up here. Alright, so to begin, I have breakfast. This is about 6 egg whites and some asparagus, and you know, when it comes to breakfast, you know, I have to get something in, but I just can't eat as much as some people there. So, you know, usually I just make the egg whites itself there. I know they look a little unusual and circular, but I'm very anal about measuring things out. So I actually use some special makers for the eggs, and I just throw them in the microwave each, which takes me about 2 minutes, and they come out in this cylindrical form. Now, I never put any seasoning on it there. The reason being is because I like to use Tapico salsa picante with my eggs. The asparagus, it's roasted. You know, sprinkle it with a little light olive oil to it. And then I add simple salt and pepper. Nothing fancy or anything like that. But that is breakfast, you know, pretty basic. Some people eat larger breakfasts, but me, you know, I just simply can't eat a large breakfast, but I still have to get something in after I do any type of cardio work. All right. Next we have lunch, and the thing about it is I'll actually interchange it with either with the next meal that I'm going to show you. This here is catfish, actually. You know, I actually just have it grilled, and there's some spinach right under it. Like I said, basic ketogenic diet. You know, I use salt and pepper and some Creole sauce. Creole, let me show you where that is at. Some of this salt-free Creole seasoning. And that's excellent for any type of fish. And, you know, this week it's catfish. I will exchange it out sometimes with ahi tuna. You know, try to, you know, eat plenty of seafood because it has a lot of omega-3.
And that's a pretty heavy piece of catfish. It's a lot bigger than and more heavier, because that's a very thick piece of catfish. It's about 30-40 grams of protein.
In it. This catfish really doesn't have that much. So even with that, I still take supplementation with the catfish. Now, this here, these look like burger patties, but in fact they're not. These are turkey patties. They're already chopped up and pre-seasoned with onions and garlic. You can get these at Sam's Club. I usually have 2 of these, which is about 45 grams of protein, and I have some broccoli along with it. like I said, I know some of my dieting looks kind of boring, but it just works for me. It's just what I like to eat, and I don't really deviate from the pattern itself here. It's low cost, it's very affordable, and like I said, it'll get you cut up there pretty quickly there. But of course, my whole goal is just ultimately health. And I'm dieting down for a show. If I don't make it for this show here, you know, with the ketogenic diet, you know, I'll be right there in no time in terms of, you know, getting down the weight there, because at my age, in my 40s and everything, you know, you simply just have to eat a little bit healthier. So this is pretty much what I do in terms of diet food. I mean, like I said, some people have these cooking recipes, but I'm not fucking Martha Stewart or Julia Childs or anything. I just do what I have to do, plain and simple. You know, there's not really much in measurements here, because again, this is a ketogenic diet, so I don't worry too much about measurements. You can simply read the label and see how much protein this has. Like the catfish, for example, that's about 30 grams. This here's 45 grams. This one here has very minimum, you know, the amount of egg whites itself. I think it's like 25 grams. Subsequently, these are just the 3 meals. I will have, I usually have 2 snacks here. Usually either a protein shake of casein or some other products here, which, you know, gets my daily protein intake. Usually I'm at around 300 grams of protein a day. You know, a moderate amount of fat, you know, and of course, no carbohydrates here, except for the carbohydrates from the vegetables, which is a very minimum amount. So these are all my meals. So let's go to supplements. All right, guys, we're going to go on to supplements here. Now, whenever I wake up in the morning, I'll always have a little bit of good old Advocare Spark. You know, it has about 200 milligrams of...
I no longer use that because I no longer sell Advocare products, so...
caffeine in it. They're very minimum, or maybe I got that wrong there as far as caffeine is concerned. Like I said, it's pretty late right now. Oh, 120 milligrams of caffeine there. So, you know, this is my go-to for any type of, you know, energy or so forth. I take a scoop of this with some cold water, mix it up, and then hop on the elliptical machine. I have this in sour apple, and I also have grape drink. Yeah, especially love the grape drink there, you know. But that's my Advocare Spark. Then I have, if some of you guys recognize it, this is Animal Cuts here. I always like taking these because it pretty much takes care of all of my immediate issues here. This is the first thing I'll usually take diet-wise. Later on, I'll switch to some other products here, usually stuff from ALR Industries, but you know, a lot of things have changed. Whenever I did my last show in 2009, you know, there was a lot of other products available, such as Jungle Warfare, which is no longer there, and Venom Hyperdrive, but you know, I still have to go and see what I can take because I have to stay away from all these stimulants and stuff like that. I can't get, you know, I can't take all the stimulants that I used to, you know, because at the age of 40, high blood pressure and everything, you know, I have to be really careful. So, in terms of vitamins, you know, I take one of these packs. You know, you got your antioxidants, your circulation, prostate and sexual health, overall health and wellness. You know, I love getting these. Get them at Sam's Club. You know, I'll get about 2 boxes at a time because I don't like really buying too much. But the Mega Man Performance, you know, it works for me just fine. Then you got to have your omega-3s. And, you know, I still got plenty of bottles of omega fatty acids from Prime Nutrition. I have about 8 or 9 bottles of this left whenever I was working with Prime Nutrition. You know, and some people think that, you know, vitamins and supplements expire, and the truth is it really doesn't. So, you always have to have your omega-3 fatty acids here, that just helps the body regulate. Now, this one here, I actually have about 20 bottles of this here. I have an agreement with Natural Partners, and I had a bunch of returns a while back, about a year ago, so it left me with about a $700 credit. So subsequently, I bought a bunch of these. Some of them I still sell on eBay, which sells pretty good. Now, these I will actually take after working out as well as before working out. And this is excellent, so that way I have time to get home and make my meals. But, I always like taking amino acids after I work out. I'll take about 6 of these. Whenever you take anything such as this, you have to drink a shitload of water with it there. But, like I said, I love having these. I go through these bottles every 15 days because, like I said, you have to take 6 at a time. And like I said, I use these after working out. I train 5 days a week, so, you guys do the math. So, excellent for that. And that is pretty much it. I don't go crazy with these supplements or anything like that. I just do what I got to do, with, the stuff that I have available. Some things I do buy in particular. I'm an Advocare distributor, so I have my Spark. That's really the only thing I really get from Advocare at this point in time. I know there's a network marketing thing, and I still sell some of the products. But at the same time, I don't really get too much else with Advocare other than the Spark. I may get some of their little energy, little containers and stuff, the Advocare Slam. But other than that, that's really it. I just stick with the 2 basic products. And, I go with, what I have. Why am I going to go out through Advocare and buy omega-3 products when I have a whole bunch of these from when I was working with Prime Nutrition? That just doesn't make any bit of sense here. So, that's all I got today. You guys wanted to know what I took in terms of supplements as well as my meals. And now you have the answer. You guys have a good night. Oh, I almost forgot one last thing. Almost forgot. I also take Tribulus. This is an excellent product for, making sure my testosterone levels stay normal. I also take DHEA as well, 100 milligrams a day of that. Like I said, I don't do any steroids or anything like that. But, at the same
Boy, that's changed, hasn't it?
time, at my age, my testosterone levels have dropped, so you do have to take supplements in order to, increase it. But the thing about it is, you don't really need much in order to do so. In terms of, testosterone management. But it is essential because without testosterone, you get kind of fuzzy and a little bit lumpy. You don't have as much energy when you have very low testosterone levels. So just wanted to bring this in as well. So, all right, now I'm done. Have a good night, people.
Boy, as a lot of things have changed, especially my supplementation. A lot of stuff I've pretty much left out and I've exchanged with other things. Because now I am taking steroids. The omega-3s I now replace with just regular food. A lot of the supplements that I did take, now at this point in time, it's just now about staying healthy there and hopefully competing one of these particular days. Next year, second year, or so forth. Marjorie Taylor Greene is resigning from Congress. Damn. Holy shit. That's a little extreme. Did she just resign immediately? Last day, okay. A special election will be triggered in Georgia's 14th district. My heart remains with joy, my life is filled with happiness, and my true convictions remain unchanged.
Hi, everyone.
Because
I've always represented the common American man and woman as a member of the House of Representatives.
we don't want to hear you, bitch. Where was I reading? My heart remains filled with joy, my life is filled with happiness, and my true convictions remain unchanged because my self-worth is not defined by a man, but instead by God who created everything else in existence. I mean, you went to a number of white nationalist rallies. What did you expect, you know? Seriously. The reason why she's actually resigning is because she doesn't want to be humiliated by getting recalled. Because you know the Trump supporters, they will recall her on a drop of a dime, literally. Too bad, so sad. Well, no, she's dead in the water. She can't. There's nothing she can do. Literally, nothing. Nothing. I didn't see Pugman. You put up a video. He hasn't. Let's put Pugman's video up here. Let's see what we got. I don't know whether that's real or AI. I do know that Blaha has been practicing on the guitar. If that is really him playing, then he's definitely improved a whole bunch. Definitely has improved. But I don't know, again, I don't know whether that's AI or not. I really don't. But let's see where we're at on
This Twitch streamer.
Give me just a minute, folks. You are not seeing my doodle. Fuck you. Nothing new. I thought someone was supposed to be covering this monkey. But, of course, we always got this here. You see, I especially like Legal Mindset because he breaks things down a lot better. You know, as far as to what's going to happen. And in this case, let's see what's going to happen to Jack Doherty.
Jack Doherty could be in massive legal risk now that he's been hit with crimes in Miami, and more liability could come down the pike. Of course, this on the Legal Mindset, where we teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and we're going to get into it today. Of course, I've got a PowerPoint for you guys. So let's talk about the trouble that Jack Doherty's got in. And some of this has been discussed on social media while I've been on a business trip. Some of this has been not discussed. So we're going to
Yes, I played the whore. But folks, Pugman's in the building. He hasn't posted anything, but y'all be sure to thank Pugman here. So he put up a video, so but Pugman, if you hear me out there, I gotta talk to you about one other thing here, so but I'll hit you up later on. Probably tomorrow or so, because I'm a bit tired, so and I'm probably gonna go to bed as soon as the show ends.
get into some of the stuff that has and has not been discussed today with this lovely PP, this lovely PowerPoint. So, of course, if you guys don't know, Jack Doherty was arrested this week in Miami, where, ironically, he was arrested almost the day that I was on the flight out. I'm not going to say that's a coincidence, but maybe it is. So he got arrested, and even his oversized bodyguard could not protect him from the police. And one of the most
Of course they can. It's the police. He has to move the hell out of the way or get smacked up.
beautiful things about this video, which I once again don't want to play, so I don't want to get claimed or anything else like that. But the beautiful thing about this video is he is dressed down by the police. The police absolutely talk to him and say, who do you think you are? What do you think you are? What do you think you're doing? And they absolutely dress this guy down and put him in his place, which is something that a lot of people on the internet have been waiting for a very, very, very long time. Now, we have to get into what the reality is.
Screen is blacked out. What the heck? Hold on. Screen is blacked out. What the heck? Hold on. Screen is blacked out. Hey, can you guys see the screen? Everything's up here, Ryan. Yeah, I mean, everything is up. It might be your Apple phone. You may need to refresh your browser there, Ryan. No, everything is up there. It might be your Apple phone messing with you again. All right, where were we? Oops. I don't want to look at myself.
Versus what is the criminal penalties? Because a lot of people out there are looking at the maximums for the crimes and saying Jack Doherty's going to get 7 years in prison. He's going to get maximum fines. He's going to get all this stuff. Hold.
He's not getting 7 years or 5 years. He's going to get probation or something, probably. Maybe.
Your horses. As always on the Legal Mindset, we give you the straight facts. We give you the quick and dirty and the fast facts. And if you like that, make sure to hit the like button, make sure to subscribe, make sure to comment on the video. So let's get into the reality. So here's the criminal maximum. So this is the maximum under Florida law, which is the state in which I am a member of the bar. Is possession of a controlled substance, amphetamine. Now, that's the most serious one. So we're starting at the top with a felony. Yes, that on paper is 5 years and a $5,000 fine, right? That is the maximum amount.
That's if he's selling it there. He just has possession of it. A lot of times that's probation, and probation. That's it.
Now, a lot of people skip over the word maximum. It's really important there, guys. The next is possession of 20 grams of marijuana, which is still a first-degree misdemeanor. Now, this is one where there's a huge expectation versus reality difference here. You guys are going to see in a second. And next is resisting arrest without violence. Now, resisting arrest without violence is very interesting because I know a lot of public attorneys in Florida, some of which are on the state side. That's the prosecutors, some are the public defenders. And this is one that people need to understand. If there is any excuse to slap that on there, the state attorneys are going to slap that on there. If they are, I know many of them, and they are going to throw that on there. If you in any way are sassing them, talking back, failure to comply, boom, resisting arrest without violence. Without violence is important because if he had actually hit an officer or pushed an officer or done anything physical with an officer, you would have violence in there. But we don't have that in this case. We simply have a failure to comply, which is much different. It's a first-degree misdemeanor.
And usually that gets thrown out 90%, about 50% of the time. We don't care about that charge. You're going to always ask questions. But yeah, he is right. They just slapped that on just to do it.
Under the statutes in Florida. So what's the criminal reality for these things? Now, this is super important. So possession of the controlled substance, the amphetamine, that's the one that everyone's barking up. All the taglines, or he's going to get a bunch of time for this. That's not what's going to happen here in the case. In this case, because of his record, he's probably going to have probation with drug classes. He was not an amphetamine dealer. There's no sales intent. So he's probably going to either get probation or
Exactly, folks. He was using it. So he'll have drug classes, he'll pay a fine for the marijuana, and the resisting arrest without violence, they'll probably toss that one out. You won't even see that. 6 to 12 months probation, they're not even going to look at it. It's going to be wrapped up into just one. The most he'll have, if anything, is that fine and this. Fuck this here. You ain't got to worry about that. That's nothing.
probation with a withheld adjudication. What that means is they're going to say, hey, we're going to drop this if you go on probation. Now, that probation might be very lengthy, and I'm going to get into this. I think the probation should be as hard and strict as possible. In fact, one of the beautiful things about probation is you can set crazy conditions. And one thing they could set is, hey, you can't be going out and engaging in this sort of behavior for content in the future, restricting his content. I think that might be a great term of probation, and then keeping him from monetizing what is essentially criminal activity in the future. Then you've got the possession of 20 grams or less of marijuana. That's a citation. At this point in Florida, if you get caught with 20 grams or less of marijuana, that's going to be a slap on the wrist. It's a citation or a withheld adjudication. They just dropped that. Now, resisting arrest without violence, that's not going to get you any jail time in reality. What that will get you is 12 months of probation. And like I said, up to 12 months, 6 to 12 months is about the average for that. So what that could be, once again, combine the possession of a controlled substance, the amphetamine, the marijuana, the resisting arrest. Let's say he just gets a year probation or 8 months probation. Let's make those terms of probation as strict as possible. Let's make him do random drug tests. Let's make him do other stuff. Let's make his life uncomfortable for 8 to 12 months, 6 to 12 months. I think that's reasonable, and I think that's an absolute L for him in terms of his lifestyle of just doing whatever the hell he wants and not taking any accountability for it. This is very similar to nuisance streamers, which I've covered, like Johnny Somali, who feel themselves and feel their ability to do whatever, whenever, wherever. That time needs to come. The time for streamers being checked and saying, hey, look, you've got to follow the law here. You've got to comply. There are people that are more important than you, i.e. the police. And if you are at a point, if content creators like Jack Doherty are at a point where they feel like they can get away with not complying with police, It's about time we restrict them as much as legally possible. Now, does that mean jail? Probably not, guys. Sorry. All those headlines are not coming. But Legal Mindset's got something for you, because I think now is the right time for a huge, massive liability, which no one's talking about right now, to hit him. And that is everything with McKinley Richardson. So in case you guys didn't know, this is the one that people really shouted out. And I remember when this went down, even I was like, there's some liability here. There's a lot of contract issues, a lot of things going on. McKinley, she is not filed in Florida. Now, Florida would be the place to file. And this is great because the crimes that just went down in Florida. So because these both went down in Florida, there's a very reasonable legal basis for her to take at least some action here. And I think that could have wide repercussions on him and hit him much harder than a slap on the wrist with necessarily these drug charges, right? Which might just get him probation. And let me talk about that real quick, because I think with McKinley, these are the real liabilities. And this is what people don't realize when you pull stuff like this, particularly with the wedding setting and everything like that. You had intentional infliction of emotional stress. I talked about that with Emaru and that whole thing going on with Miskiff. Public humiliation regarding those wedding vows, talking about not dating men, taking all of her OnlyFans money, etc., all that sort of stuff. That is classic IIED, intentional infliction of emotional stress. And I think there's a high likelihood if she chose to go after that and she was serious about it, I think she could look for some liability there. You've got fraudulent inducement, misrepresentation, tricking her into an OnlyFans management contract, breach of contract. There was duress in that signing of that contract.
Here's the only thing here about that. My opinion is, given the fact of the people that he hangs around with, I think Jack Doherty is a lot more dangerous than he actually looks there. I mean, I'm being dead serious there. For a pasty white kid, he seems to be somewhat connected or so forth, because it's just the people that he hangs around with. So McKinley may want to be careful in doing something like this if she's going to go after him.
Invasion of privacy. You're streaming personal life without consent. It looked like there was no consent there. You've got defamation, a false portrayal of her image as immoral and a gold digger, etc. All those things stacked together. And at the very end, I wanted to put the cream, the cherry on top is a restraining order. I think the Florida crimes he just committed makes the perfect legal basis for a restraining order. At a very bare minimum, McKinley could hit him with a restraining order as an FU. You know, once again, this is like the scorched earth tactic, right? If she really wants to get back at him, if she's really mad about that, it's simple. It's so easy to get a restraining order right now based on just these activities, just what he had right now. Saying, hey, look, judge, he's unhinged. Look at these things he's doing right now. He doesn't care about anybody. Boom, restraining order. That's going to happen. That would be easy, and that would at least tie him up a little bit. So in conclusion here, guys, what I think the recent crimes, they're not going to be that hard. They're going to be light in punishment. But probation conditions can be strict, and I think they should be strict here. And we should, make sure the judge is properly informed about this guy and make sure they know, hey, prosecutors, this guy is going to go out and engage in this behavior. If anything, the law enforcement knows what type of attitude he has. They saw what type of respect he has for law enforcement, which is zero. And because he absolutely doesn't respect anybody, he only cares about himself. I think it's a great situation for very strict probation conditions. And lastly, if McKinley Richardson, if it was not for drama, if it was all kayfabe and stuff like that, if she's real, if she's sincere, I would strike now, because she hasn't done anything yet, and there's no statute. The statute of limitations has not run on this stuff. She can still go in Florida and pursue all of those claims, all of them, which could financially devastate him, at least get him into a situation where he's got to settle for a large amount. And it's the perfect time to sue Doherty right now. At a minimum, go file that restraining order and get that done. But guys, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen to Jack Doherty? Do you think that McKinley should go after him? I want to know in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the next.
Like I said before, I think Jack is very dangerous. I mean, very, very, very dangerous there. A very dangerous individual. It's just the type of people that he hangs around with. He has that bodyguard, for starters, but there's just an aura of evilness around him. Like, he has some sort of connections. I just can't. I really can't put my finger on it there, folks. I really can't. What time is Bofa coming? I don't know. I don't know at all. I have no clue. Oh boy. He definitely is a psychopath. Or so he's a psychopath and a sociopath. He's just it's I'm trying to think of the right words to say. I think that there's a couple of unopened doors when it comes to Jack Doherty. There's other things that he's doing other than pimping out these women there, basically. Now, being a pimp is somewhat respectable in my community of black folks. But, at the same time, knowing the pimps that I knew back in my day, they can be quite violent. So, is Jack one of those types of people? Who knows?
Taste of my freestyle. You know my flavor, I'm the real vanilla ice. To all my haters, I'm a CEO. 10K a day. Alicia Keys ain't gay, nothing on me. I got kilos, baby. I got my mansions and I got my Lamborghini. I'm the real bandcammer. Lady Gaga ain't got shit on me. I'm the real Steph. Natalie Portman is my baby. CEO goddess. I got my app. And Charles, baby, it's a real vanilla ice, 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 baby. You got my flavor. Bad joke, ain't got nothing on me. I'm the got the fur coats and the rollies. It's my flavor, baby. All about the Benjamin Woodrum. Hear my freestyle. I got the spinners on my chain, the bling bling, the rollies. CEO 10K a day. You know my flavor, baby. I'm the real jammer with my freaking rollies and my bling. And a six of Cuban cigars. I'm in the Bahamas, baby. You got another DG. I'm a bad motherfucker. You got my BG. All the little haters, Little Wayne, you ain't got nothing on me. I'm a wankster. Lady Gaga is my hoe. Got all the hoes and bitches afloat. You got my ice cream, baby. It's all about the ice skate cream, baby. 46 egg with the ball on the natural tape full of crack shell meal, 2 meal replacement shape meal, 46 ounces of I2 and can 2 further vegetables, tape full flax meal, meal 4 meal replacement shape meal 5, 46 ounces of I2 and can 2 further vegetables, tape full flax meal 6 meal replacement shape meal 7, 46 ounces of I2 and can 2 further vegetables, tape full flax meal 7, isolated protein shape meal 8, 46 ounces of I2 and can 2 further tape full flax meal 6 with test. So eat the water, egg, water, beef, and mustard diet.
A little classic one here. So, all right, let's. I think that's all the videos I'm gonna play. That's it. I'm done with videos. Alright, folks, 15 minutes. Get your questions in. Last chance to make a donation. Be sure to smash that like button. Be sure to thank everybody that has contributed to the channel. Pugman Mac, looking out for me always. Ryan on the mic. We out of sight. Kaizen, you still in the house? None. Man. I'm telling you there, I am blessed. Just checking out a couple of things that I've done today. I agree. People tell me I should work more on growing the channel. But, you know, my whole thing about growing the channel is, you know, I just don't want to crowd the channel with cookie cutters. Big Lenny, if he was looking down, he wouldn't want that neither. People know where my channel is. If they want to come, that's perfectly fine. I have plenty of shorts that I show them. I am going to make some full videos. I need to start doing at least one a day like I used to. Because it doesn't take me that much work to do. Lately, I've been just doing all shorts and everything, and, you know, there's been a lot of missing mints that I've just missed out on. I'll just be honest with you. I can picture you and Jack Doherty. I would never hang out with him or Wes Watson. And I'm going to tell you why. If I hung around Jack Doherty, I mean, I think I would be putting my personal health in danger. Something's going to happen to him one day. Someone's going to whip out the Roscoe. Someone's going to, you know, he hangs around too many dangerous people. Not just, the thing about it is, hanging around Wes, when you hang around Wes, you gotta hang around with his crew. A lot of them are former gang members and stuff. I mean, look what they did to that poor guy in the gym. I mean, they beat the living crap out of him. Well, Ryan, I would have to deal with his bodyguard. That's the problem. He has one very big bodyguard. I'm not fighting that big motherfucker. I would probably hit him with pepper spray, but... But he's still a goofball anyway. Well, I don't know what... I don't want to know what kind of fun did he have with Jack. Yes, indeed. Don't forget, folks, tomorrow is Saturday Soul live stream, and it'll probably be early around 2 p.m. I'm going to be up in the morning. I got to wash the car, got to clean off a couple of things, hit the gym. I've actually canceled my Planet Fitness membership because I'm spending $300 a month on gym membership, and I got on my insurance. It comes with its own gym membership at a much better gym. If I'm going to be paying that much money, I went with the Anthem Silver plan through my workplace. So I'm going to have hopefully, I'm going to probably try to train back at Coop's gym. That is the same place I trained for the Mountaineer. And I like training at Coop's because it's open 24 hours. It'll allow me to do some actual training videos there. I can do training videos at Coop's. That's not a problem. Everyone does it there. And I would not have any problem whatsoever. I can have a tripod up and I can be training. Because guess what, folks? It's at 2 a.m. in the morning. I can just come in, I can do posing sessions or whatever. So y'all just look out for that. My membership with Planet Fitness expires on December the 16th. Whatever happened to Rob Fitness messed himself up. He just kept arguing with people, and then they just didn't want him up there no more. But it's an ever-changing panel. Like I said, I've been up there a couple of times, but, and Bravo has, and stuff. I don't really have the time to be up on the show anymore. I mean, when I was on the show, it was at the time to where I was in between work or technically not working at all, I was just working at home. I've never inhaled a weed pen device at all. So there's never even been a first time to begin with. I mean, that's stupid. I mean, I get really sick around weed and marijuana. But whenever I did actually try marijuana, I tried, I didn't use no weed pen. I took the blunt, With my friends, we took the mic like a joint and passed it around. It was $24.99 a month. But don't forget, I have my home gym, and like I said, my new membership. That's the only reason why I'm getting rid of it, is because I already have gym membership benefits with my new plan. I don't think so. When it comes to virtual training, that's just a nothing burger. I mean, like I said, before we had phones, we had what's called books. What episode of RX Muscle? I don't know. This was a couple of years ago. I haven't been on RX in quite some time. I don't really do panel stuff anymore. The last show I've been on was Joe Pietaro's show. I just have other things to do, folks. I'm a lot more busier than I used to be. I mean, that's the way life is sometimes. You just get busy. You could still get it from the library there, Ryan. I still utilize the library a bunch. In fact, I even got a video on it. It's still on my Goodrum group side. Let's go to that. Well, we'll need to do this first. Ah, damn it. Yeah, I can't do it right now because I forgot I privated all those videos. I'm only on like 2 of them. I don't remember the dates here. I mean, like I said, Amazon will never replace a public library. It's always going to be government funded. But yeah, I used to spend most of my days in the library. The entire day. On Saturdays, I would go in at 7. I wouldn't leave out until 6. Now what I may do, I may go there till 12, go to the mall on the bus, come back at 3, read a little bit more to take books home. But that would be about the gist of it. And I would take home I could take home at least 10 books at a time. So I tried to read as much as I could, but with the library, heck, you can do a lot of things here. Like, oops. Let me show you guys this here. Hold on. Can I pull it up here? No. I will have to show you guys one day. Oh yeah, it's Hoopla. Let me see if I can pull it up here. So this here is Hoopla. Basically, through the library, you could literally, you can rent out books and stuff. Download the app, and with your library membership, you'll have access to videos, to music, and everything. Use your local library. It's going to pay off there. But folks, that is the end of the show. It is 12 o'clock p.m. I want to thank Matty Matt for donating. Want to thank everybody for joining me. Y'all tune in tomorrow for Saturday Soul. Probably is going to start around 2. But I'm out of here, folks, and as always, peace and soul.